Today we got some questions about index. I dropped a video, I think for an index not that long ago. Anyway, this was a listener question that I jotted down in my document. So the comment was, this video is great, but here's my question. Let's say you're working on building up an index after years of using a hard site focus. This is a hypothetical situation. Plot twist, I don't think it's too hypothetical. When practicing, draw and present, and you're off a little. Should you keep making the correction based on the sight alignment or just always trust your index and fire the shot? Well, depends on what kind of business you're in, but for any of them, you need to be accountable for where the bullets go. So I'm going to make a correction before I fire. For example, if I'm looking at the target, and I'm going to exaggerate for the purposes of this, but if I draw the gun and it's not where I need it to be, then I'm going to just make the correction before I fire because I don't want to just start cracking off shots. You want to get to the point, for people not familiar with the index, where if I look where I want bullets to go, I just draw the pistol, and that time the dot went exactly to the very middle of the lens of the webcam, and that was perfect. So, like, oh, job done. Put it back in the holster, do it again. Draw the pistol. Did it go? Oh, that time it was a quarter of an inch high and to the right. So, put it back in the holster, do it again. This one, just about perfect. Just a tick high, but centered up well. So just doing that over and over again while you're drawing the gun from the holster, building your hands in the proper grip, and just assessing where the bullets go. So for the question, could you keep making the correction based off the sight alignment or trust your index to fire the shot? The index helps you get the gun to the target or get your sight to where you're looking, but if it's not there, you're going to have to fix it. Over a period of training, you'll get to the point where you look at the spot and the sight just shows up there. Whether it be draw, the sight goes right there. You do magazine change, the sight goes back there. You do target transitions, so you shoot some target, you look at the one you want to hit, the sight just floats. Like, that was money. It showed up exactly on the middle of the middle of the camera. Couldn't have been any better. So just working on doing some training, so wherever you look, the sight just shows up. Whether you're doing gun manipulation, you could load the gun, then bring it to the target, out of the holster, unloaded start, the target transitions, running with the gun unmounted, then mounting the gun, getting ready to fire shots. All this stuff, the possibilities are endless. You're just working on building the ability to look where you want it to go and have the sights just go precisely there. The next part of this question, assuming your index is good enough to be on safely on paper, it reminds me of learning to play the guitar. Looking at the frets, you could sneak a look, that speed. Yeah, I mean, basically, so then his question is, do you do it without looking or slow it down? You have to keep training at game day pace, at the pace you want to be. So for the purposes of index or drawing the gun from the holster or target transitions, I don't like slowing it down. Slowing down would make it easier. So mount the gun. Oh man, I'm so good. Lower the gun, slowly raise it again. I'm getting so good. That's fine, but that's not really going to help when I want to actually practice at a range, because I've used this analogy a bunch, but a race car driver wouldn't get on the interstate, put the needle on 80 or whatever mileage and mile per hour and hit the cruise control and then just sit there and space out and watch movies. That wouldn't really prepare him for being a race car driver. Instead, you have to be training on the edge of your control to better whatever your personal best is and build your skill. So anyway, regardless of iron sights or a red dot, that's the process. What he's talking about not doing front sight focus would be, I continue to look at the target, then I just present the gun and I can tell whether the sights are aligned or if they're way off center, if I have to make some kind of a mechanical correction to my grip to move the gun where it needs to go. I'd do that before I'd fire. And probably have to do a video about irons and target focus at some point, but at a broad stroke, I'm going to elaborate or exaggerate for the purpose of this. If my sights are like this, so all three of them are in a line, but clearly the front sight's way out of alignment, I could be staring at where I want the bullets to go and still be aware of that. And if I continue to stare, I can see if the sights are aligned also. So you want to not have to shift your vision back. So I can look back at the front sight. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And then shift my vision back to, in this example, the target, the webcam, and then pull my vision back to the front sight, bounce it back and forth. You don't have to do that. You want to just look at the spot you want it to go. If your iron sights align, you can tell just by awareness of where they are. And are the sights out of alignment? Is it in the notch? Maybe it's a tick low. Maybe it's a tick high. But that's something you should just be able to do based on awareness and staying target focused. Let's see. Into the questions. So it's, yep, guitar analogy. You still use the sights when shooting. But you want to finalize your aim. It slows you down a lot. So yes, I agree. If you try to slow down and like process it as you go, it's not going to be as successful as just the method I recommended, whether it's iron sights or a dot, carry gun, full-size competition gun. It doesn't really matter. You just look at the spot you want to go, draw the pistol at game day speed, your full speed, and then just work on making the corrections. And if something's not off, it's not aligned, then if you're on the range, you'd want to visually, or shooting for it counting, whatever, or in a competition, you'd want to make the correction before you shoot, not just sending it. But in the purpose of training, I wouldn't slow down to get your hits or to make the results look right. Just keep training at full power, full speed, and work on making the corrections to learn the feelings you need to have in your hands and the ability to just look at a spot and guide the sights right to where you go. You kind of get to the point where, even though I don't have a gun in my hands, I know the way it feels. So the cocking serrations would be right here. The mag release is right here. Magazine in. Like, I could do all these manipulations without even having a gun in my hand. Or if I wanted to target focus, that's where my hands would need to be. If I put a gun in my hands, the sights would have been aligned. You just build that up by practice. Unfortunately, I don't have a gimmick or a shortcut. There are some, a few things, well, I'll talk crazy, to warn about. I've seen people like to do a draw where they build, get a good angle, but build the grip, like kind of draw the gun forward, build a grip, and then bring it up to your eye line. I've had a few shooters like that in class, and I'll just tell them what's up. Like, oh, I think I do that. I'm like, I think you do too. I was just assessing honesty if you were either going to be honest about what was going on or if you knew. But basically, if I'm looking here, I could build the grip, fully extend the pistol, then start to bring it up towards the camera. Then as the pistol gets somewhere close, I'll shift my vision down, find the dot, and then just bring the dot to the target. Something I would strongly consider against. It's not going to be good to track the target to actually make sure you put bullets in the center. Instead, you'll see hits dragging up the target, or maybe you'll go above the target and then realize you have to come back down. So a lot of issues can happen from that. Another one that, well, used to be the way. Now some people say it was just a way, but I wasn't really saying to do that anyway. I'll stop. The other way would be, we used to call it fishing back in the day, but you could bring the gun up over and then kind of catch the dot this way as it's settling down on target. That's another, I would say, is another big no-no, because it's just going to teach you to stare at the dot, because I don't want to have a technique where I'm looking at the back plate of the gun or the back of the optic. I don't want my vision anywhere on the gun. I want my vision on the target. And if I train myself to do some type of a technique where I'm looking for the sight while it drops in, or while I do the elevator or escalator, or people come up with really dumb stuff, but whatever this type of thing is, where you fully extend the gun and then bring it up, that's another easy way to like connect with it on the way up and then ride it up to the target. Instead, just briefly for a draw stroke, if you just fully extend the gun to the target and then put it back in your holster, that's the most direct route and the route I would suggest you use. So if the gun comes out of the holster, hands together, support hands on the gun, and then it just extends towards the target, I try not to bring my vision back to the sight at any point during any of that. Instead, I keep laser focused where I want bullets to go, and then I'll just wait, and hopefully, with training and experience, the sight's going to just come up to where I'm looking, and I won't shift my vision to it. It'd be the same, what I'm describing here with the draw, doing either one of these nonsense would be the same as doing target transitions and have the gun get close, then I look for the sight, and then follow it into the rest of the target. That would be another no-no. I would not recommend. So anyway, a little bit off the topic, but stuff kind of related to index. Hopefully that's helpful. Appreciate you watching. Like, share, subscribe if you want. If not, that's cool too. And appreciate you watching.